Superheroes speak. A comic book dream, where legends are born and stories redeem. With Dave, John, and Dark Dawn, who will we cast? The podcast is here to make the past last.
Howdy, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
And Don.
You seem a little too happy there, Don. You know, and you have to watch a TV show now that you didn't want to watch. So,
Yeah, I know.
Oh, is that because of the Super Bowl or whatever that
the
was?
Super Bowl. Yeah, the Super Bowl. Yeah, I figured, hey, I'm like, okay, hey, listen, I make this bet because I really want you guys to watch Invincible because it's really good. It's not perfect, but it's really, really good. And
it has been good. Yeah.
Podcast. I don't know what I said that. Podcast. We really should be talking about it, in my opinion. But I'm like, okay, so either A, Dave's going to watch Invincible, or B, yeah, I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan whatsoever. So I'm like, I don't want to see them three-peat whatsoever. I want my buddy to have his team get a Super Bowl because I'll never know what that's like as a Cleveland Browns fan. So I won either way. The Creature Commandos, you know, it's upsetting the dogs, but it'll be okay.
They just want to be a part of the Creature Commandos. I actually watched the entire first season of Invincible. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely agree. The first.
Yeah.
It's a little of they use a lot of red in the show, sure.
yes.
But I feel it's very, very decently written. Again, not perfect. And it's just, yes, it's superhero deconstruction, but there's more to it, though. You still get to see superhero stuff.
Yeah,
so
I find that it's much easier to stomach than The Boys for some reason.
Yes,
like
The
Boys seems
agree.
to be just gratuitous, and there's a reason why, there's a reason why everybody's doing everything, including the murder. It's not just, I'm evil. I'm going to show you how evil I am by killing this person.
Or like if a Superman strength level character karate chops you in the neck, you're going to fucking explode. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, so, so yeah, you should watch it, Dave. And we should be talking about it as a superhero podcast. Just saying, not a super saying, just saying.
Kassan, no lies, man. No notes. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Agreed. Absolutely. Even from, me and Acolyte. I still Invincible is.
I understand. That's why I don't mention Acolyte. I understand that you like it, and I can understand why, and that's fine. I'm not going to keep dunking on it. We've been over that.
You bring up a good point, though, about if someone with super strength karate chops you in the neck, and you're just a regular person. And they always say in the comics and the cartoons and stuff that, Superman pulls his punches when he's fighting people, so he doesn't.
And Spider-Man does too. Yeah.
And Spider-Man. Where are the lost panels of the first time they went to fight crime and they didn't know they needed to pull their punch? Like, that had to have happened to some hero at some point, but they don't show it. I think we need to. I guess that's what Invincible's for, right?
They have. It's called a movie called Hancock, and it's called The Boys.
That's true. So
I just don't think Invincible is so overt with ridiculousness. Like, yes, it's gory, but A, it's animated, so that helps with that part. But B, it's all for a purpose. It's not just, hey, let's show a guy with a giant dick,
Right. Well, and again, like, there's a reason why Omni-Man was killing people and such, Yeah, I mean, it wasn't gratuitous. It was, it was part of his character, and he has a character arc. So, it's, I don't know why. It's way easier to stomach than The Boys because like you said, it's well written. It really is.
All right. Well, besides Invincible coming back, because I haven't watched it, so we'll talk about it, I guess, at some point. How's everyone's week been, John?
I stole a cat. I mean, okay, I didn't steal it. Okay, now stay with me. I didn't steal a cat. a cat. I
Okay.
told you last week, a cat started living on my porch.
Right.
So, yeah. So this cat, Shay, I'm calling him Shay. This cat and my cat not getting along, mostly because my cat is not great at getting along with other cats, except
Okay.
the one across the street that used to live there for whatever reason. I have no idea. But I had this new cat to the vet. No chip, no nothing, no hits on the paw boost I put out.
Mhm.
I spent extra money for the Facebook ads for 15-mile radius, nothing. So like I'm sitting here going, why do I have a cat that was already fixed, is in really good
Yeah.
shape, is pretty young, like already being fixed, no chips or anything, but like it just tells me that it belongs to somebody, and either they abandoned him or he ran away or what. I can't find an owner. And then this morning, I was downstairs watching TV before I had to start work, and I hear a boom, boom. And I'm like, oh, it's just Shay going around learning the layout of the house. I come upstairs. He's gone. He pushed my storm door open and left the house on his own.
Oh.
I didn't like, he's a big cat. I didn't think he was strong enough to push the storm door open. None of my other cats ever could. So, freaked out about that. I'm like, well, if he'll come back for dinner. He did come back for dinner. He's now under the couch over there. And I'm still sitting here going, I mean, what do I do? Like, I'll just keep hanging on to him until somebody comes to my door saying, where the hell's my cat? I don't know what to do.
Is he
But
neutered?
he was fixed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was fixed. So yeah. And that's the crazy thing. Like even if it does belong to somebody and they're still around here, they've been leaving him out in 5-degree weather.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like they were feeding him very well. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
So
the cat lady transfer is now complete. Like I said last week, it is. And as long as you're cool with him going, and it's like you were basically where he goes to get away from the weather and predators,
yeah,
then so
My-
be it.
my neighbor is hilarious. He said, John, you are the best cat lady this neighborhood has ever
Yeah.
had. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. I can see
So
that.
yeah. Oh, also I'm going for a colonoscopy this Friday. If you are a man of a
It's a
certain
hell of a
age,
transition.
you really should get a colonoscopy. This is your PSA. Also understand that if you are going to go for one, take the day and the day before off, because you're not doing anything those 2 days.
All right, from Pussy to the Pooper. Great job, John.
Oh my god.
Actually, it's important. We can make fun of it, but
No,
you get to 45, 50, you have to get
I mean,
one if you're a man.
Yep.
It's one of those
4 months
necessary
away
things when
from
you get older.
45. Yeah.
Well,
And
you
I'm
can do
overdue.
that. You can do the colon guard now.
Yeah, but it's not as accurate.
I'd rather poop in
know?
a box. Anyway. All right. Well, that's an interesting transition now that everyone's thinking about your ass.
Not until I'm trying to do a service here and make sure that
Oh, the
people
planets
understand
will-
that they need to do this.
Yeah, the planets will be aligned this year. You guys hear that one? And you'll be able to see Uranus. Ha ha ha.
Okay. And the planets did align, actually, or are going to align, like all of them.
Y'all
Which
can have that for free.
Gee, this year, wonder why.
All right. Don, how are you doing as you take a sip of your giant beer?
Yeah, giant. I was having a pretty good week. And then I made it to
Oh, here we go.
first
Everyone
world
buckle in.
problems. First world problems. Okay, but I make it to my Saturday morning, which it's funny. I'm almost 45 years old, and Saturday morning is still kind of like my cartoon, play a video game time still to this day. So, okay, there we have it. And so I want to play Marvel Rivals while I get a few moments before I log into work here. A few, like an hour. And PSN's down. All the PlayStation Network.
Oh, right. It's a big thing. Nobody on PS5 can play anything.
Well, they can now. It's back up now. So, but it's just, and I don't want to be that boomer that's like, oh, retro games are better because you put it in and you press the button and it goes. Like, no, I'm not going to be that, even though I truly feel that
I
way.
will.
But this is, well, okay, but this is Marvel Rivals. It's an online game. It's free. So I wrote the check, so okay, I'll cash it. But it's still just a little bit on the frustrating side there. So outside of that though, good shit. Like we talked about earlier though, I did want to bet you into watching Invincible, but that didn't happen. But it looks like we may have brought you to that side anyway. Really something we should be talking about. Just
Oh no, an animated superhero show. Twist my arm, why don't you?
exactly. Like I really don't think it would be difficult. But that's how. So pretty good, reasonably pretty good. So what about John? Other than the cats or the cat and not getting along with your other cat, what's going on in the world of Amish country, Pennsylvania there. But you really kind of remind. Do you watch The Office, John?
Do I what?
The Office. Have you ever watched that show?
Oh yeah, bits and pieces.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
I like the original.
I understand. It's way more
British
cringy,
one.
but yeah. You really don't remind me of like Dwight Schrute from on that show. Is that what I knew? Dave already caught it because he watched that show.
How do you feel about turnips?
Right. Or beets. Yeah, he lives out on a beet farm.
Beets.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a funny
out in the
show.
Middle of nowhere.
It's so fucking accurate as far as working in an office. Like
it is.
I was just watching one of the shows the other day where this guy was a doctor, but he's working in a call center. And I know this Egyptian lady who's like a doctor in Egypt, but yeah, she's like working at a call center. And it's just funny. And you remind me of Dwight Schrute. Okay, how's it going, John? Other than me making fun of you.
I'll have to look that up. I don't know that character.
He's funny.
It's on Beats Bears Battlestar Galactica.
He's just a dude that lives out on a farm, but he works in an office and he's all about like D&D and Star Wars and shit. He's funny. He's a double-edged sword because he's like a cool character, but he's also kind of the dick. So I don't know. Anyway.
Fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, I technically already went. So Dave, we could force him to tell us how he did.
Yeah.
That's not the beer talking.
Must be.
I just actually I think besides work, I spent the majority of my week setting up my new laptop. Because it was funny, once I got the majority of the software installed and got some stuff transferred off my old machine just started shutting off for no reason. So it was like, it was time. The gods were telling me. The computer gods were like, yeah, it's time for a new machine.
It's like that scene with the, Captain Jack Sparrow as the ship is sinking and he like stays on the top mast and he steps off into the dock. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this should be a lot better anyway. This has got twice the RAM as my old computer. My old computer was a dual core. This is a quad core. So it's already, I can tell it's a lot faster than my other machine. So same size hard drive though. And they were both solid state, but it's, but I'm probably going to get a cloud account and start putting everything in the cloud anyway. So yeah, that was my big thing this week. And then of course, there was a little football game yesterday that was the only time. That was the fourth time the Eagles have been to the Super Bowl, and everyone kept saying Kansas City was going to win. And boy, did the Eagles smack the shit out of the Kansas
Giants.
They did.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, obviously great, for you, but I also heard there was some, some damage in the city of Philadelphia as a part of the celebration. So I'm just glad to see you're okay and not affected by that.
Okay. So hold on. Is
that overblown?
Let me tell you. Yeah, there were fireworks going off, all night, but like for some reason in Philly, they always talk about the, people going crazy and whatnot. When the Celtics won the NBA championship, they were overturning and setting cars on fire in Boston. So please stop saying Philly's the worst fans, because they're bad all over the place when their teams win. It's not just
The year I moved into Pennsylvania, they threw at a football game. They threw one of the fans of the opposing team off the second floor balcony, and there began the Eagles court, where they had to move an actual judge and bailiff into the stadium to handle the Philly fans. So don't tell me they're not. They greased
But I'm
the
saying that-
freaking lampposts in the
but that-
city in case that they won, and they still climbed up onto the
I'm saying
lampposts.
people do that in all the cities. Kassan, you're an asshole. He said Philly people suck, all of them, every single one. Well, you suck, Kassan.
Listen, you know, I will say though, the Cleveland people are great. Now, I mean, you know, Cleveland's about 40 minutes from me, but the Cavs won back in 2016, and this is the city of Cleveland. We don't win shit. So one of our teams actually won a world championship, or whatever you want to call it. Like, we actually had like over 1 million people in downtown Cleveland, and like no incidents whatsoever. It was just a great friggin' time. I worked 20 minutes from where it happened. I actually stayed back at the office so everybody could go enjoy. I thought the Indians were going to win. Whole other thing.
I was about to say
we got beat by the Cubs.
It's the cheesesteaks. All these Philly fans, they have all this extra protein,
Wait,
and they're just looking to burn it off somehow. And
the Indians have never won the World Series?
Oh no! Well, back in like the 1940s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but not
you
within your lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was.
No. No.
Kassan, Cleveland, where hope dies. Oh, brutal! God, Kassan, brutal.
And you're a Browns fan.
And our
he's got ample evidence to his point. I'm sorry, and yeah, the normal Chiefs, yeah, the normal refs. That's what I thought too, Randy. I was like, yeah, well, obviously. You know, in the sports world, Cleveland really is kind of nice otherwise.
Yeah.
Superhero sports talk.
You can even fish now in the burning river, the river that caught fire back then. It's actually cleaned up a lot since. Honest to God, it has.
No, I know that used to be a problem before regulation that we're now destroying.
Nonetheless, it's still fucking burned, so everybody's gonna remember that.
But it was funny because my girlfriend works in a school, and the first thing was actually her son goes to school in Millersville, which is like an hour and a half drive, and he came home this past weekend, so she had to take him back to school on Sunday, and her plan was to get home before the game was over. Well, unfortunately, she got into the area just as the game was ending. So, I mean, and anyone who watched the game knows it was over in the last, like, there was 2 minutes on the clock, but the game was over at that point. And, yeah, she had a hard time, basically navigating through the streets to get to her house. And then she said there were fireworks going off all night, so she was tired when she got up this morning. And then half of the students were out. So, I mean, that happens. And then she said the ones that were there were all miserable because their parents kept them up all night.
All right.
I don't understand that. I've never done that to my kids. Like, oh, wake up or don't go to bed. It's the Super Bowl. Like, I don't get that at all.
That's because the Browns never won.
Randy, I actually have caught several steelhead trout from not the Cuyahoga River, but the Rocky River, which is very close. And yeah, no three-eyed, but great Simpson reference.
Kassan says, I have a sister-in-law from Cleveland, mentor. I know it has improved, except winning. Winning doesn't happen in Cleveland.
I mean, he's not wrong, which is why, by the way, NBA hero speaks, right? LeBron James is the greatest basketball player there is. You can say that Michael Jordan has 6 rings and he never watched the final, but LeBron James won a title for Cleveland, which is worth like 10. So he's the greatest. Go. Him and Steph Curry, both born in Akron, both born in the same hospital. Akron, Ohio makes champions.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So
Yeah, I've
We'll
been
give
there.
you
It's
that.
lame.
Ah! You're not supposed to admit
Science.
that.
The science hall's way better, and it's just right across the parking lot.
So
I was gonna come to Cleveland just to go there with you, but apparently not now.
You know what? You would probably appreciate it because you're like a guitar guy. Like I tried to play bass guitar in high school, and like I don't know. I couldn't get good enough. But as a music aficionado, you probably would like it.
All right. And I guess the other thing that we did, though, I haven't watched the newest episode yet, but we've all watched Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man still.
I watched
Yeah.
is the latest episode tonight, or I've seen it. I think I've seen up to 5. Whatever the latest
That's-
one
I've
is.
seen up
out.
to
Yeah,
5.
that's what I'm saying. 5 I haven't finished. I'm halfway through episode 5, and then we had to come on and do this.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm liking
Alright.
it.
I'm now looking at this as a giant what if version of Spider-Man, and that it's like I feel like it's a spin-off from the MCU, but it's what if, because all the stuff happening in the background is all happened in the MCU. They're talking about all of that stuff.
It is hewing very close to that timeline, isn't it? The
Yes.
timeline around
Just the fact that Peter has made his appearance, and it's now Civil War going on in the background, and it's like that's right out of the MCU timeline. So
and it's tracking everything except for where Spider-Man was involved in that.
right, instead of Tony being his mentor, it's Norman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop on that one. That's the only thing that like I'm just cringe. You know how like I just, because of OCD and everything, I just emotionally like really connect, and so like when I see somebody doing something cringe, I cringe, and it's why I have a hard time watching something that's too bloody, like the Boys and all that, or watching situational comedy where it's all about people just making complete asses of themselves. But this is like, I'm sitting there watching this, I'm going, oh God, he's gonna turn anytime now on him. You know,
I was gonna say the thing that is bothering about the show, and it's gonna sound silly, they're making me like Norman Osborn so far. Like, they haven't presented his dark side yet, which there is. Obviously, a guy who pushes a button and it locks down his entire office, and he has that already set up. Like,
yeah,
he's got secrets, but so far he hasn't shown any ill intent towards Peter. And like I was kept like
that
I
makes
was
it
like
worse.
I was like I was on the edge of this of it the whole time, like get back and forth. And then when he shows up in his office and Harry's there, and Harry finds, spoiler alert, Harry finds out his secret, but I mean this is all canon in the the two of them do eventually figure out he's Spider-Man, and they can make him go, like no, go away because my son's here, and it was just like, huh, like it was like that's something that somebody who is trying to protect his secret would do. That's how it came off to me, and I'm like, don't make me like Norman. He's going to be the Green Goblin. We know it's going that way.
And Tombstone, right? That's a. Am I remembering that correctly? That's a Marvel bad guy.
It's Lonnie. Lonnie,
right?
Lincoln.
But Tombstone is an actual bad guy. But
it's like a C level. Yeah, it is.
He's a meta though, right? Like incredibly hard to kill.
Well, and he's also like a gangster, like in a gang and stuff. Like the original was a gangster, then he was like a gang member, and they're setting that story up so hard in this show so far.
I kind of felt they made him turn to the gang a little bit too quickly. I would have appreciated if they gave it another, like if he struggled with it for another episode or two.
That's one of my major complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole Tombstone, how he got in the gang. So basically, his brother got in the gang. He goes to the hideout, and the leader, Big Don, is like, "Hey, I'll let your brother go if you come into the gang." And he's like, "Okay." And
well,
I'm
he
like, "Okay."
he's the one who proposed it because he was trying to protect his
Sure,
brother.
absolutely. But I'm like, okay, great, get the fuck out of there, you know. And that's what I thought he was going to do. Like, okay, yeah, absolutely, call the cop. But he didn't. He's like, okay, yep, I'm your thug now. Like, come on, this is the real world. They all got cell phones. He should have got out of there and be like, yeah, hello, police. Yeah, no, there's a gang, and here's where they're located.
In the real world, though, they aren't going to catch the entire gang. When are they gonna hold those guys on? They probably got nothing on them. And from then on, he'll be looking over his shoulder for the rest of his life, because gangs do not take that kindly, man.
Right.
Like,
And that's
a betrayal like
thing
that
too. Like, and they've done I mean, it's a story that you've seen 1,000 times in movies and TV shows. Like, he's protecting his little brother. Like, that's what it's really about. Like, and the fear of retaliation if he walks away from them. But I also they're also trying to set it up where there are other gangs in New York and they're protecting, the block that they live on, which is, I mean,
even though they're having women fight other big dudes, and like that was another complaint I had. Like, and I'm not trying to be that guy that's like, oh, women.
Oh, you're that guy.
Men. I guess so. I mean, I have 2 daughters, and I don't want to ever restrict their thought or think that they're, can't accomplish something. But I would never tell them, hey, but go ahead and get into a fight with men. I would just never say that. Like,
right.
And so I think that the show is just the writing is a little bit goofy to me on some of the parts. But as I'm saying all that, because I've only said negative things so far in this segment, I really do like the show. I love the animation. I think like every comic book animated Marvel thing should be exactly this. I love how they just do everything like the comic. I love how like people with black hair, but they want to shade it differently, so they use the blue, just like the 1980s fucking Venom shit. Like, I love that. So anyway, I don't know. I felt bad because the only thing I've said is negative things about the show, but I think
I like the touch of bringing in Peter's other identities from the comics. That was a short-lived thing in the 90s where it was after Ben Reilly, right? Like, Ben Reilly was Spider-Man, so he decided to try to find a new identity, and there was Dusk, Prodigy, and Hornet, but the one they didn't do was Ricochet, and that's the only version that I liked.
that was funny.
So, yeah, I think it was and it was it was a cool way to do like, oh, here are other costumes and identities we're trying, and still stay true to like canon in the comics. So
how do you like the fact that he is wanting a blue and red suit to mimic Captain America?
Is that suit from comic canon?
That suit that he's wearing now is like Future Foundation.
Yeah, so it was in the comics when he was part of the Fantastic Four for a short while.
Yeah, although it was white. This one's kind of white and blue, but again, they're doing that weird black blue shading thing, which again, I love.
What's the other character? Anti-Venom. He was white and black instead of black and white.
Yep.
So I mean, it's kind of its own thing. I don't mind him wanting red and blue to mimic Captain America, because that's long established that he's like a Captain America fanboy in the comics, and some of the other cartoons. It's like it was the MCU where no, they did it in Civil War in the comics too, where he was an Iron Man fanboy, and then he got involved with Tony Stark. But like historically, it's always been Captain America, But like, he's the character in Marvel they make everyone look up to, because he's the moral compass for a lot of people in the comics. So yeah, I don't mind it. It makes sense. I think they're hinting at eventually he'll end up in the red and blue, but
they've shown you as much, because in the intro, which I'm really starting to enjoy that intro song. They kind of show you the progression of the suits, and you can clearly see it's going to be it's stop me if I'm jumping the gun here. What did you think of, again, spoiler alert, of the introduction of Otto Octavius?
Interesting. Right.
Interesting, right? I mean, he's not a scientist who's doing an experiment that goes wrong. He's a criminal mastermind. It is close to like the comic books, the original
Mhm.
Doc Ock
Yeah.
in the comics.
They did kind of hint at like maybe he had been doing experiments for
Yeah.
Oscorp and got kicked out. Haven't really like nailed that down, but he did react to Osborn's name rather vociferously. So
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's interesting too. But like at the same time, he has that symbol on the stuff he's selling, the 8. You know,
Mhm.
Octavius Corp, I think, is
Hmm.
canon in the video games at least. Um, you would think that Norman would have recognized it, but maybe not. But then again, maybe he does, and that's the whole thing. He's not telling him. And that could also lead to why he's actually helping him. Like, okay, he saved his son, and that's a good story. But at the same time, is he trying to stop Otto? And he knows that he can't do it, so he needs someone like Spider-Man to stop him. You know, I'm curious. That's the whole thing. I've gotten curious where they're going with it. You know, like, because that would be interesting, right? Because then he can like feign, and that's where he could be. Oh my god, that could be his turn. God, I feel like I'm writing this, and no one's listening to me. That could be his villain turn. The start of his villain turn, where you know Spidey goes after Ock and stops him, and then Norman declares he doesn't know Spider-Man at all. Like, cuts off all ties and just say it was a superhero and a supervillain fighting, and you know Peter's in a situation where he needs his help and he doesn't help him because he's trying to act like he's clean of that. Man, I should be writing the show.
and they're setting up that a lot of the stuff that that Octavius is making, it looks like that's partly going to pay off as the Sinister Six, right? Like I can't the one guy at in this last episode, the big guy, that's going to be Rhino, you know, and his friend
It
woman,
is right.
The woman was Unicorn,
right? I mean
right?
that is
So
that is Rhino. That's
yeah.
Dimitri. That's the character's
So
name.
so it looks like Otto's the one who's like creating the Sinister Six, or at least the tech that they use. You know,
Yeah.
Well, we had the Shocker, right? The woman, the brother and sister, or the was it the pair?
You know what?
I guess
I didn't
they
even
weren't brother and
catch
sister.
that.
They were, yeah,
There
that
were a
was
couple.
her tech was the Shocker, right?
It could be.
His, I don't know. I didn't
I don't
recognize.
feel it was
Somebody
that clear.
He's I can't think of the character's name from the comics. Slipshot, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like these are all characters from the comics. Like they didn't invent anyone for this show yet. Which they probably won't.
They don't need to. His
But
Spider-Man's
again,
gallery is like one of the most. It's got the deepest bench of like almost any other superhero. DC.
that is also comic canon. It was originally Doc Ock who put the Sinister Six together. So
Oh, okay. There you go.
yeah. Yeah, where are they going with Scorpion too? Like, is he gonna go to Otto to get a suit?
And Doc Connors is in there, but it's a woman.
Gender, but yeah.
But we're never, can't. That's going to pay off at some point. We hope, because that Connor's been in some of the movies and never got paid off in the first trilogy, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to. I could be wrong. I feel like they're going to wait for season 2. Like that's going to be the cliffhanger at the end of the first season, is her doing an experiment with lizards, like not working on the energy, because that's the other weird thing, right? Like she's working on energy instead of any kind of medical thing, and it's like, well, they're really changing the backstory there, but I think that's where it's or it's going to end with her going to Norman and being like, I want to switch my area
at some point she'll trip and fall into a vat of plot devices. So yeah.
Well, Artemis Chow.
Yeah.
He's
well, and Shuri is there.
Yes, but yeah, Artemis Chow it becomes the Hulk for a short while in the comics. Are they going to do that here?
Is it the Hulk, or is it a Hulk variant like Hulklinger? Or
he's like a Hulk variant, but it's the Hulk.
They had killed off Bruce Banner in the comics, but of course he comes back.
And he was the new Hulk. Yeah,
he was the new Hulk.
Interesting.
What was his name? He had another name. It wasn't the Incredible Hulk. It was something else.
Hulkling
Totally
or-
Awesome Hulk. Totally Awesome Hulk.
Totally awesome.
Oh, Totally Awesome Hulk. That goes with the
Yeah.
personality game. Okay.
Which I have that
Right.
hero click. I have Amadeus Show Hulk hero click. It's badass. But anyway,
Nice.
nonetheless.
So yeah, I'm curious to see. Like I think it's only 8 episodes, so there's 3 more to go. So it'll be interesting to see where this ends up. And I guess I'm gonna have to start watching Invincible.
Yes, yes. But you know, I didn't even. I mean, I recognize Amadeus Show, but I really didn't think about that much till you said, Dave. And you're right. Like, Amadeus Show is like the Wu-Tang Clan. Ain't nothing to fuck with, man. Like, woo. I hope
Yeah.
that comes to be a thing.
Oh, I that's the whole thing. I think you throw in these characters because even if you don't pay it off in the first season, you end up paying it off in the second season. Because I actually thought I read something the other day, like they've already have the second season written and they're talking about the third season already. You know,
Yeah, it's Spider-Man. You should have 10 seasons, you know, ready to go. It's not that fucking hard. I'm just waiting for the next X-Men to, when's the X-Men going to show up? It's going to be Wolverine. That's what I'm waiting on. Wolverine. We're going to see a Wolverine.
Nah, let's get away from Wolverine for a little while and go. I don't know, Kitty Pryde and Colossus.
They could do a lot of good stuff with Kitty Pryde.
He's trying to trigger me.
Darn it, you put that.
Never mind. Okay.
But you bring that up though, Dave. It's like I really do have to sit here because clearly the X-Men are not going to be here for the 2 years. They're going to go Fantastic Four, then X-Men. I'm okay with it, but the X-Men are dead. Oh wait, that's
Randy's asking where's his Gambit movie, and then Son said the X-Men are dead. Get over it. Oh my God.
funny
Son's
thing
gonna
about
miss
the
it.
X-Men is they can revive. Ha ha! How about that? So
I wonder if Kassan is a Kansas City Chiefs fan and he's just pissed. Off of their wonderful performance last night.
oh boy,
It's a shame. I'm sorry for you, Kassan. I really am. So yeah, we're gonna keep watching it.
yeah,
oh,
that's right. The
Bucs,
team
even
that
worse.
has my old quarterback that I wish we still had and never wanted to part with.
Well, he wanted to be on a team that could win. All right.
No, he did. He wanted to be at Browns. We just wanted to hire a fucking creep. Apparently.
Oh. Okay. All right. Don, you had said something about doing a live read before.
Yes, I did.
Before we, but I'm kind of feeling like you're a little too feeling it.
Okay, I mean, you're wrong, but I get it. You're the boss.
You want to try? You can try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, let's go for it.
Let's go for it. Hey, so of course, Superhero Speak isn't just a YouTube show or a podcast. We also have a website, superheroespeak.com, where you can go. You can find the show there. You can find comic reviews by me and Dave. We're now doing them video-wise. And of course, other than checking out the website while you're on the HoloNet, as Dark Dawn would say, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Great shows like the Power Prop Prism Podcast, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, and of course, the one you're watching right now, the flagship, Superhero Speak, hashtag DWR Stalls. Okay, I'm slurring a little bit. I get it. So otherwise, other than that, though, check out the rest. It's just, Geek World All-Star. We need your support. So check out the other great shows. Okay, Dave, I kind of screwed it up, but not too much. But there you go. Check us out.
Don't forget Colt 45. Randy's actually watching. Did you say?
I did say Colt 45.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I did. Absolutely.
All right.
They're funny as shit. You got to check them out. Fans on Patrol, absolutely. I know Gorilla Brains a little bit on hiatus and Power Prop Prism, but definitely go check out their stuff too. Come on.
And
and buy our merch because we want to go to Comic-Con. So help us out there.
I was about to say, if you've gotten this far in the podcast and you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here on Sunday nights. Also, smash that like button that's beating Don up right now because
Yep.
it really does help with the algorithm. It gets the show out there even more. And if
And
you're
I'm a
so
dickhead.
inclined, and if you're so inclined, check out our merch store. Link is in the description below. Buy yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt. They are the greatest podcast t-shirts available on the internet. That's what everyone's been saying. At least that's what I've heard. All right. On that note, I think we will take a really quick commercial break and be back with our news. Let's see. What one should I play? I'm going to play the Sprite one.
Wow, the stinger!
Timmy, I'm from the Dream Come True Fantasy Contest. You ready to wrestle?
You bet! Mom! Dad, it's really him! Hold on! Okay, now I'm ready.
It looks so real.
Don't count on Sprite to do anything but quench your thirst.
Wanna go 2 out of 3?
I play that in honor of JD, who is not with us anymore. It's a shame. I mean, he's alive. He's just not here anymore. All right.
Talking wrestling. That's what he
Wrestling.
loves.
Yes. Yes, it is actually a good commercial, Kassan.
It reminds me because I grew up with 3 stepbrothers and we all watched wrestling back in the day. So like him jumping off the stairs, like, yep, that's all old hat. It's just funny good times.
I am going to say one more time too, and especially with Randy currently watching, we do need new commercials. Get tired of playing the same old ones. But also, if you're a podcast and you're watching this right now or listening to this afterwards on audio and you would like to promote your show on our show, then send over a video ad for me, or just email me and ask me details. And that's Dave at superheroespeak.com, and we will make all of your advertising needs come true. And it's free. It's totally free. Like, we're not making money off of it. We're just doing it to help fellow podcasters. So, all right, gentlemen, we have a few things to talk about. Of course, the big thing that came out last week, which I'm shocked they didn't wait till the Super Bowl for this, because it's normally when they do stuff like this, or it used to be, not anymore. We got our first official teaser for Fantastic Four: First Steps. And I am very curious to hear what you guys thought of this trailer. And John, you can go first.
So I think they're alluding to the fact that the Fantastic Four is going to be migrating from one reality to another.
Okay.
Possibly, and this isn't a surprise. Possibly because of something that happens with Galactus.
Yeah.
The fact that they had Galactus, like the real
the
Galactus,
trailer,
not
yeah.
a smoke monster, was kind of nice. I was really liking the retro, the futuristic retro,
Yes.
aesthetic, and Ben Grimm looked pretty darn good.
Hello, Thrawn. Thrawn says things looking grim. Well, that seems like a bad pun.
But wait a minute, that was Sue Storm. That is James Gunn's wife, right?
Is it?
Or is it?
I
Isn't
thought
it?
she was
No, I
only
don't
in James Gunn movies.
Yeah, I think she's only in James Gunn movies. I don't think that was her.
This
Randy
is
says
something
no.
Rob Zombie does.
No, no. Oh, Vanessa Kirby. Sorry.
Yeah.
Looked a
One piece
lot
in
like
movies.
So Vanessa Kirby, right? So the cast looks good. Don't know much about Joseph Quinn. Pedro Pascal, I think, is going to kill it. He's a chameleon. He'll make it work, and we'll like it. But yeah, it's R Savage. It's for me, it's pretty lady blindness. But
That's
yeah,
a running gag on Colt 45, white lady face blindness. So yeah.
yeah. For me, it's Pretty Lady Blindness. But yeah, it's I don't know. I'm liking it. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I hope this starts a new good phase of the Marvel universe. You know,
Yeah.
we need
I-
it. And of course, it's going to have the X-Men in it too, not just the Fantastic Four. But they're going to use the Fantastic Four to jump into it, and then like they bring the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in from different realities. That could work.
Okay. Don, what did you think?
Man, I really enjoyed the aesthetic of it, this past aesthetic. In fact, I hope that somehow like the X-Men exist in this universe. I'm not saying that they're going to be in this movie, but man, what if there was like this like Marvel 1960s Silver Age cinematic universe?
Oh,
That would wait, Don. That would be a way to get Magneto in and not too old, and still have him be from the Holocaust.
Well, yes, but even in the comic books, Magneto's been de-aged. So, but yes, this is one way they could do that. Now, them showing Galactus, I think I would have rather been surprised by. I mean, but I get it. We kind of all knew it was coming.
yeah.
But boy, I hope the Fantastic Four can weather the storm. But I don't know. I still kind of feel like I would like to be surprised by it. But whatever. I'm not going to hate on it for saying nope. Don't get us wrong, Galactus. Now with that said, I've heard that like Galactus has came because he needs Franklin Richards to like restore his reality. I kind of hope that's wrong because that seems way too much to fucking deal with in our introduction. I like their family aspect of, we have dinner every day here at 6 p.m. no matter what. Like, I am encouraged by the fact that they are focusing on the family aspect of the Fantastic Four. So I'm super excited. And I would like to kind of see this maybe be one corner of the universe, the 1960s Silver Age, whatever you want to call it, where the Fantastic Four and X-Men maybe originally reside. And of course, Franklin Richards is, depending on what comic era you've read, I'm not going to get into it, but for the most part, he's a mutant. Well, they may have changed recently, but he's a mutant. He's a reality level warping mutant. Galactus is like his ride around pony sort of thing. So again, a lot to deal with in the first movie, but he still may be a part of it. So I'm excited. I like it. I think we're going to do a good job here of progressing past the multiverse, the phase, bore, the phase jive, the phase sucks. Like, I think this looks like a good pushing off of that.
Thrawn said there was no shots of the female Silver Surfer. That is true. I don't know.
I don't think they want to deal with that smoke yet, because they're going to deal with smoke with that.
I don't even know if here's the thing. I don't even know how big of a role she has in the movie. Like, and I feel like she's only going to be a small part in the movie because the Fantastic Four movie, the second one from the early 2000s, was all Silver Surfer, and I feel like they don't. It's about Galactus. It's not about the Silver Surfer. It's just going to be the Herald who comes in, warns them, and then Galactus is going to show up. I don't think there's going to be a whole big thing with the Silver Surfer in it. And I think that's one of the reasons they're getting away with, doing an alternate version. Shot of Sue Storm floating around shows her pregnant, unconfirmed. I don't know about that because he keeps calling her. They say Sue Storm. They don't say Sue Richards in the trailer, so they're not married yet. And I don't think you start off with them married. I think you start off with them as a couple, but I could be wrong. So I like the aesthetic because I feel like to be able to quickly make you think of something wholesome, you set it in the 50s or 60s, right? With that kind of like past future thing, right? It makes you think of that wholesome future that you were thinking, they were thinking of in the 50s and the 60s, like
The Disney World
White
of
people.
Tomorrow.
yeah, the Disney glasses,
The World of Tomorrow.
Yes, the world of thank you, the world of tomorrow kind of glasses. Randy says shotgun weapon.
Also, Fallout 4. Kind of the Fallout 4.
Oh
aesthetic.
yeah, that's true.
Before the bombs.
I think they got the tone right. I kind of like the trailer. Definitely gives you a feel like they're already celebrities when the movie starts. They're already the Fantastic Four, and we're gonna see flashbacks of how they became. They're not going to do an origin again. I think that's going to be the new way going forward with some of these characters we're rebooting for the third time, like with Spider-Man. I think they're going to do the same thing here. However, there is a current theory that made me go, that the flight into space that gives them their powers actually sent them to an alternate universe. And they're actually from the sacred timeline, got thrown into this alternate universe and came, just showed up with the powers. And then it became heroes that way.
I don't know. I don't
And
know.
then something happens with Galactus at the end. I didn't say that's true. I said it's a current fan theory.
I hope that's not true, because that's just more like multiverse bull jive. And if that is really the case, then
They deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Nice. Nice. I mean, it's going to be the incursions that's going to have them winding up in the main Marvel universe.
Yeah, I think that's actually going to I feel like that's how the movie's going to end. An incursion's going to open up, a crack in the sky, and then Donald's throw his soda at the screen. Look, and I know we've been over this. They've done Reed Richards with a beard and everything before. I still can't get past Reed Richards with a mustache. I know Pedro Pascal's known for his mustache, but I just can't get past it. It feels to me like Cesar Romero refusing to shave his mustache when he plays the Joker in the 60s. To me, it's the same thing. Like, come on, let's see
the same level of gravitas. Like,
yeah,
there's comic book Reed with a full beard and mustache, so they probably did that because of this, because it's kind of more recent thing. If you look at the Marvel Rivals now, I'm pretty sure he's got I don't know, they rock it. They rock it in Multiverse of Madness. It's kind of becoming a Reed thing. I don't know. I guess what you're saying, but
doesn't Reed figure out multiverse travel? Well, they do go to the negative zone. He figures that out in Civil War. So yeah, I guess he does. Isn't Fantastic Four going up against Superman? How do you think this will impact reception of Fantastic Four? Well, no, they all come out. They're not coming out the same day, but they're all coming out the same month. You have Superman, Fantastic Four, and the new Jurassic Park movie all coming out in the same month this year. So, Reboot City. I mean, how do we think it'll impact it? I don't know. I think it's going to end up, and we'll do it on this show. We will. It's going to end up with a lot of comparisons between the two movies. It's going to be like, here's where Fantastic Four got it right. Here's where Superman got it right, and vice versa. That'll
be interesting. That's quite a comparison, really.
And they're both supposed to be, the uplifting, wholesome characters from both universes when you really think about it. So it is interesting they're coming out at the same time.
And both being such a so different from what came before, right? Like all the Superman movies have basically started with the same stories and all that, and now this Superman movie, we're jumping into a living world with all the heroes, where all the Fantastic Four stuff before started with, the origin story and all that, and pretty much trod the same path. This one, we're starting right in the thick of things, and maybe with incursions and stuff. Like we're really diverting from what we're normally used to, and I think these and it's good because again we've been trotting down the same paths for both these franchises for the longest time. It's time to try something new because what has gone before has not been working at all.
Yeah. Real quick, Kassan said
Yeah,
that Jurassic Park will bring in billions while Superman and Fantastic Four struggle.
I don't
to break
know.
even.
That's not.
I
People are
think
so tired of Jurassic
I
Park.
was about to say, I think people are tired of Jurassic Park. I think the last one did not do as well as the previous ones, and Chris Pratt didn't even come back for this. I mean, yeah, you got ScarJo
Yeah,
taking over, but it's like, okay, so now you have to get another person in the lead. I don't see it. I really don't. I have no desire to see the new Jurassic Park. I really don't. Like, that's one I'm definitely like, I can wait for streaming for that. So
yeah. They say it's more horror based now, and like we're gonna see the dinosaurs acting like dinosaurs instead of like Blue, go here. Here, boy, get the stick, boy. Killing machine, get the stick. No,
come on, don't you wish you had a pet dinosaur? We all would like a pet dinosaur.
Yeah. I'd be eaten in the first 5 minutes. But no, I think Superman and Fantastic Four are going to do well. At least as long as these movies are as good as they are starting to look.
I feel
same Kassan. Yeah.
I think except Crypto.
Oh no, Crypto is best boy. Come on.
I feel like
good boy.
See, I don't know. I keep thinking about it too. I kind of feel like at this point, because it's really rebooting the DC universe, Superman, and bringing the Fantastic Four back for a third time to the big screen. There are people that are going to be nervous to go, and it's going to depend on who goes on Friday or Thursday or Friday and tells their friends, like, "Ooh, you got to go see this," or "Ooh, I think it's going to be a word of mouth, like where by the end of the weekend you'll really know."
Well, also by the promos, right? Like so far we've gotten teasers.
Yeah,
And the Superman one was more of a real teaser. This Fantastic Four one was kind of a first blush actual promo. So
I mean, they show you a lot.
a full trailer. So
yeah,
I think I mean the trailer looks good, and if they release a little bit more, I hope they don't reveal everything. Keep some cards to the vest for crying out loud for once. But if the trailers, we're gonna get what, maybe 2 more trailers for both, maybe 3 for Superman. It might that could also drum up a lot of excitement,
Kassan says, "Where are you guys on Pedro Pascal fatigue? Still have room for desserts, or are you fed up?"
He's a chameleon. He can do many different. I don't know where I'd have fatigue with him because he's playing a different character in every single movie he's in.
Look. Pedro Pascal is charming and handsome, and if he shaved the mustache off, he would, he would be
He'd
a
probably
male crush.
Lose half of his charisma, -5 to charisma immediately.
I would put him up there with my man crush on Hugh Jackman. I'm telling you, like
he probably has
really
a separate
good.
rider on his actor's insurance for his mustache.
Randy says he's rewatching Mando right now, so Randy's not bored of him. See, look.
You know what? Hot take. Pedro Pascal doesn't actually add anything to the Mandalorian show.
He's not. Well, yeah, it's because he's not supposed to, right? He's kind of a blank pattern for wish fulfillment almost, but he really, yeah.
Look, I'll give you that because like they don't even need a name in that suit. We saw his face once in the first season. Twice. Okay, so yes, we've seen his face twice. But he wears.
My wife was like, "Oh, he's not cute at all." I thought he was going to be cuter.
That's horrible. Oh no.
Why does your wife sound like a gay man?
Well, because that's my horrible impression of a woman. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That explains a lot. No. I mean, I get it, but I mean, I've seen him in a lot of other things, and I really like him. Did you see what's the name of that? The Incredible Weight of Genius? Is that the name of the movie, or Greatness? With Nicolas Cage, and he plays the like the crime lord. And like, oh, if you guys have not seen that, oh my god.
No.
You've seen the meme with the two of them in the car, right?
I've seen a lot of Pedro Pascal memes, like the one he's eating the sandwich and when he's sitting.
Oh yeah.
But I couldn't tell you where the fuck they're from.
Yeah, see, Randy says it's a really funny movie. It's, oh my god, you guys have, that's your homework.
Yeah, well, Randy watches stuff where the fart of God happens and people die because they smell their teacher's fart. So the first person shooter that is Mando, sure, I guess. But
It's
I love
reality collapsing. Don is criticizing a Star Wars IP. He has a point. Kassan has a very good point there, Don. Is it maybe too many beers? Is that
no, because I love that show. I'm just saying I'm not watching it for Pedro Pascal.
Star Wars
Star Wars the tabletop role playing game. It's what the game I run bi-weekly for my I wish someone around me was doing that because I would love to play. Playing is way funner than DMing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I love
anyway.
DMing, but
anyway, I think.
Okay, let me send you some books.
We're all excited for this movie, right? We're all
absolutely. You'd be crazy not to.
Hey, okay. No, there was one last thing I wanted to address on the trailer before we move on to the next thing. I don't know why people have been criticizing the thing, and I'm like looking at it and I'm like, that's Jack Kirby's drawing come to life. Like, what the hell are they complaining about? Like, he looks perfect. Like, it's so much better than the last one, like, and he's got pants on. Thank God.
Jeez.
The only complaint that made me go, was it's just, I don't remember the actor's name, but it's just his voice as the thing. They didn't do anything to make him sound gruff or anything. And it's like, I always picture the thing having a gruff voice because he's made of stone. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah.
Because he's Batman.
Well, think about when Chiklis played Ben Grimm, right? Like, he did kind of go do this when he was the thing, but then when he was Ben Grimm, not as the thing, he talked in his normal voice. So I can see it, Oh, the voice and the bear references. It's the voice and the bear references.
I stopped watching that show, actually. The bear.
I like the meme of the thing and the bear.
I'll have to look that up. That sounds funny already.
But yeah, I don't know. But I thought he looked perfect, Kassan said, I thought it's too perfect. Everything looked too smooth and rounded. It's a comic book character come to life. Like, what do you want? Like,
yeah,
the fan four stick jagged thing just looked horrible in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And he didn't have pants on.
Completely naked.
Yes. Which showed you the thing has no thing. And we can't have that. Right, we upset John. All right, let's move on. The other trailer that we got, this one was during the Super Bowl. We got a new Thunderbolts trailer that revealed a little bit more about not Sentry, but Void. Don't tell me that's not Void. Flying around, throwing thunderbolts through windows and breaking off Bucky's arm. So yeah, that's.
I thought it was that or Graviton, or was it Graviton?
No. So Sentry's got a split personality, and his evil side is called Void. So I really think that's what they're doing.
Because I saw in the trailer, 2 people got hit and just became like shadows on the ground. Like, I thought maybe that was just them getting completely flattened with gravity, but I like you'll know better than I am because you're the Marvel guys. So.
Yeah, it could have been flattened by century. So very possible. Think of him like Homelander, but with absolutely no moral compass.
Oh, good grief.
This is a guy who ripped off his own face to make a point.
That he did.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my God.
they got
So
sent
that-
into the void. Oh, and the other big before we talk about that too much too, the other big reveal was they finally told us what the asterisk was all about.
They did.
Yeah, if you look at the poster that came out at the same time as the trailer, it shows the asterisk at the bottom and it says Avengers are not available. So like they're saying, yeah, we're sending in the B team because and they talk about it in the trailer. It's like, well, the Avengers aren't around and we need someone to protect America, and that's why they formed the Thunderbolts.
I feel that is completely unnecessary. Maybe that's just me, but okay. It's not that funny of a joke, so I'm not getting it. It's still annoying me, the asterisks.
Kasan says they paid $8 million for a Thunderbolts commercial. Haven't they dumped enough money into this? Are people excited to watch?
Well, okay.
Well, hold on. Kasan, they played the trailer. It's $8 million for 30 seconds on the Super Bowl. If the trailer is 2 minutes, that's $32 million that they dumped. But go ahead. What were you going to say, Don?
Well, I just want to say that I actually think that was money kind of well spent.
Yeah.
And my exhibit A would be, I'm sitting there, I'm watching the Super Bowl with my wife. She saw that trailer and she was like, oh, like it was funny. And so I think they knew what they were doing there. In fact, I don't think that the Thunderbolts has actually gotten a whole lot of marketing.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's pretty smart of them to do what they did. But I will say from a Norman perspective, I guess it did kind of. I think it probably put some interest into it from people that were maybe already anticipating it or knew that it was upcoming.
I wasn't floored by it. It almost didn't leave a real impression on me for some reason.
I feel like they were going for an emotional gut punch with characters that no one really cares too much about or knows much about, right? Like, I'm trying to think. So Red Guardian was introduced in the Black Widow movie that not a lot of people saw. Let's be honest. The movie that should have come out 5 years before it actually came out.
Yeah.
Agree, but they're kind of like selling him as the heart and soul of the team.
Same thing with Taskmaster. She was introduced in that same movie.
Yeah, that actually annoys me. I don't want that.
Nobody wanted that, right?
Fucking yeah.
And then we got Ghost, who was introduced in Ant-Man 2. And then we haven't seen or heard from since. We get Bucky, who people know who Bucky is, and U.S. Agent, who was introduced in a TV show with Bucky that maybe half of the Marvel's fans saw.
Don't forget Florence Pugh, Yelena.
Oh yeah, again, also introduced.
Well, she's the highlight.
Yeah.
Well, she should be. Like she's hilarious when she's written properly. Like I like the way she was written.
She's a great actress. She had some of the best lines in that movie. I did like her also in Falcon and was it? No, it was in Hawkeye.
Yeah,
Hawkeye
it was on
series.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, I liked her in that. Like she's a funny actress. It's hard to be attractive and come off as charming and funny, but like as a woman, I think, and she pulls it off really well. So it's just like, yeah, she is the highlight to me of the movie. Yeah, but all that being said, like there's a bunch of characters that like not a lot of people care about, and they're trying to do the emotional gut punch. It works on me because I like the character of Red Guardian. I don't know why this like guy who was in a failed I loved the What If episode with him, by the way, and Winter Soldier. Like that was so good.
That's a
But
buddy
like,
show I'd watch.
but in the MCU, this kind of like failed symbol of Russia, of the Soviet Union, and was sent on this secret mission, and like, but all he really wanted in life was to have a family, and like because he got put in this program where he's pretending to be an American with a family, like he's holding on to that like it's real because it's all he really wants in life. So like I like that. I don't know why I like identify with him in that way. But other than that, like I don't know. I it's going to be a tough watch. I mean, we're watching it for the podcast.
I mean, like I said, I'm not getting much from it. Maybe the next, because I guess it was like, it seemed like everybody was depressed, and like,
yeah,
you're used to seeing like, oh God, what's his name? Right, Alexei. You're used to seeing Alexei just being this happy kind of Santa guy, right? Like just always having fun no matter what he's doing, and just enjoying the ride. And you're used to seeing Yelena just spitting one-liners and cutting people's souls bare with every hit. And I'm not seeing any of that. Like, it just seems like everybody's depressed.
I feel like a lot of the scenes in this trailer were taken from what you would call the second act, where it's usually where the heroes fail.
Oh, the third act breakup or whatever.
Yeah, right. But like, so it's the darkest point of the movie, so everyone's kind of
but that's not going to get people to come in. That's the thing.
My son pointed something out.
Ben Grimm's the thing.
Oh, no. Nice. Oh.
My son made an observation, and it's a possible spoiler, and it was like, oh, maybe, that he thinks Taskmaster is killed in the movie, probably by Sentry, because a lot of the group shots after that point, she's not there anymore. She's not in the limo. You don't see her outside of the building when they're all talking about like, we can't do this. We're not heroes. Like that's probably the turning point in the movie. Yeah.
Something to look forward to. Okay.
Ouch. You are terrible.
They shit on the Taskmaster character. I'm sorry.
They did. It was horrible. Even I know I'm the DC guy, and even I could smell that from a mile off. It was horrible.
Like Red Hulk's going to be in this movie, right?
Who?
Red Hulk.
I don't know.
General Thunderbolt Ross, the namesake of the fucking team.
We'll have to. I mean, we have another movie to. I must say we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But we have another movie to watch where we definitely know Red Hulk is in there. Yeah, because that's the thing. They're calling this movie Thunderbolts. They show them in the trailer calling themselves Thunderbolts. There has to be that name has to come from somewhere, and and I have a theory on that. I'll talk about that. I think I'll talk about that at the end of the show when we're talking about recommendations. But yeah. So you're right. Like I understand your pain. Okay, you know what? I'll say it now. I understand your pain, Don. But here's my thought. Does George Harrison or President Thunderbolt Ross die in Captain America 4, and they named them the Thunderbolts in honor of the deceased president?
Harrison Ford does have a habit these days of making sure it's in his contract that he dies in any movies, and so
that would just be dumb. It's dumb if that's what's going on. It's dumb.
Randy,
and that's further reason for me to lament the fact that Harrison Ford has taken the character of Red Hulk, because if that's just a one-off, then that's, I don't know.
It's dumb. It's dumb. It's also dumb because like everyone wants to see if you're going to use Red Hulk, you've got to use Hulk, and you have to have the two of them fight. And if you're not going to do that, you're wasting Red Hulk. Like, because the whole point is he finally decides to turn himself into a Hulk so he can be on even ground for the creature that he's been chasing his whole life.
Yeah.
And to throw that storyline away for Captain America 4 when there was plenty of other Captain America villains they could have used is stupid. Yeah. So, I agree with you. So, all right. Well, we're going to see it for the podcast. We'll see how we feel afterwards. But speaking of things that are stupid, let's talk about one of my favorite people from comic books. Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Went on a tirade this week saying he will never, ever, ever work for Marvel again. That they snub creators, they're a terrible company, and he is done with them again. So long story short, basically in his tirade, he mentions, I mean, to me, it's stupid because he mentioned this in the whole thing, and to me, it totally disqualifies the whole argument. There was apparently an after party that Disney and Marvel were having for the premiere of Deadpool Wolverine, and they didn't invite him. He was invited to the premiere of the movie, but not the after party. So they snubbed him. So now they hate creators, and he will never work for them again.
I don't care.
I don't know. And like, look, we can get into a conversation about creator rights and all that kind of stuff, but we got to keep in mind this guy quit Marvel in the 90s with a bunch of other artists, started their own company called Image because Marvel wasn't treating them fairly as creators back then. So they created a company where the people were going to own their stuff outright and blah blah blah, and then he ended up leaving that company because of differences in how they were managing it, and they weren't treating him fairly. And then he went back to DC and worked for them for a while, and then he quit DC because DC, like, this is his history. He does this over and over again, so I can't take him seriously. But what do you guys think?
Did they not invite him to the after party because his chest couldn't fit through the door?
Oh,
there we go. Referencing the famous Captain America illustration by Rob Liefeld, where it looked like that xenomorph alien was about to pop out
burst
of
through his chest.
But anywho, okay, Rob Liefeld. I have complicated thoughts about Rob Liefeld because I cannot deny, as much as in the early 2000s and the aughts, we like to make fun of Liefeld for his lack of feet on the characters and the pouches and
maybe
the
that's why
and the
maybe
guns.
that's why they didn't invite him, because he couldn't walk there. So anyway, because he doesn't have feet, that's why he can't draw them.
Because he can't draw feet because he doesn't have them for reference. That's possibly true. But all that aside, he really was influential, at least for somebody like me that really got going as far as their comic book fandom in the late 80s, early 90s. He really was a part of the greater lexicon, the boy wonder, if you will. And he did create Deadpool, although a lot of the facets of Deadpool that made him popular, I would say Rob Liefeld did not come up with. Rob Liefeld just copied Deathstroke, and ripped him off for Marvel. So, but outside of that, I would say he's still pretty influential. The problem I have with Rob Liefeld is, one, you remember this, Dave, you made like a comment on Facebook. I don't even remember what it was about, but he came in and started lecturing you, like out of nowhere. Do you remember that? He started talking about, oh, you shouldn't be on a pedestal and blah, blah, blah. So that's like, I was like, oh, that's sus. And now here we have him. He may have a point. He maybe should have been invited to the after party. Okay, whatever. But to come and then say, well, I'm not going to work with him anymore. That's the same as saying like, oh, I asked out this girl And she said no. So I'm not gonna ask her out anymore. Well, yeah, duh, because she kind of made the choice for you. Like, you're not doing anything. Nobody's asking for Rob Liefeld. I think he did some Deadpool thing 2-3 years ago. But outside of that, dude, nobody's asking for Rob Liefeld. So it really does make you look just kind of poor to be like, oh, they've rejected you already. So for you to like counter reject them is just silly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually an excellent point, and that's how it's coming off to me as well. I also feel like that's just setting up, because this can also be, you do this, you do a big public display, and then in 5 years, when you need another paycheck, you make your triumphant return to
Yeah.
Deadpool, and you do a 4-issue arc, and then everyone cheers it and runs out and buys it, and you make a ton of money. Like, I mean, come on. That was when he returned to Deadpool the last time. That's what they did. Oh, Rob Liefeld's triumphant return to Deadpool. I mean, and to sit there and say, like, because he also said something about not getting proper credit in the film and whatnot. He's a credit hog. Like, that's all he does anymore is walk around and go, I created Deadpool. I created Deadpool. No, you didn't. You copied Deathstroke. The people who actually created Deadpool as we know him came after you and created the fourth wall break and the crazy personality. That was all after you. And doesn't Fabian Nicaea also get some credit for creating Deadpool? You drew him. That's about it. And what you drew was a copy of a DC character. Like, come on, man. Like,
And Rob, if you'd like to come on and refute any of this, we'd love to have you on the show.
yes, we are Facebook friends. We're still he didn't like he hasn't unfriended me, and we have had interactions before, but there was the one time like he went after me, and it was just like, dude, like, you're Rob Liefeld. What the fuck are you doing? So, yeah. But yeah, if you're watching this, you're welcome on anytime to tell us we're wrong about your feeling hurt about being rejected by the pretty girl.
Neuroticism. Yeah, I mean, it's just clearly unhealthy. Seek help. I mean, I get it. He's gone through a lot of ups and downs in the comic industry. I mean, I get it. He was a young guy. And he was like the most famous like comic book dude ever in the 90s. So like, I get it, but boy, like, okay, you drew Deadpool. All right. Like, I don't want to seem insensitive to creators' rights, but boy, she didn't go to an after party. Like,
well, and that's also the question too, right? Because he sits there and says over and over again, I created Deadpool, but like, there's more than one person that created that character, and to sit there and be like, I did it, it's like, really? You have to you have to be a little humble, I think.
Well, and to quote what my favorite character in Game of Thrones, Tywin Lannister, like, if you have to tell somebody you're the king, you're not the king. So yeah, just
Fair enough.
Humble it down a little bit.
Wait, okay, Kassan says, wait, we have to be consistent on this. The creators of Superman wouldn't know who our Superman is. He's a different character, but the original idea was theirs. If Liefeld was the original creator of Deadpool, no matter what has been modified, he should receive the credit for Deadpool. But again, Fabian wrote a story and said there's this assassin character who kind of looks like Deathstroke, and he drew a guy in a red suit with black things. Like, who created him? We can't pick and choose how credit is given based on how we like or dislike the person claiming the credit. On this, wait, and real quick, also, Schuster and Joe Schuster and I can't think of the other guy's name, created Superman. Like, they created him in the 30s, and like, were kind of retired from comics because when they were doing it, they didn't credit. And then we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. Come on, famous artist. He passed away not that long ago.
Famous artist that passed away. Not they're Been a
dark
few, haven't
hair. He's um
Akira Toriyama? No, I know.
no, he was the guy who fought for the rights for them to get credit for like Superman, like in the early 2000s. Shoot.
Sorry, I can't
Nope.
help it, bud.
Yeah, I'm out of that one.
Oh, I'm drawing a blank. So anyway, like they didn't
Joe
walk
Shuster?
around. No.
No. Okay.
Well, Joe Shuster's the other guy. That yes.
Al Pacino. Or no, I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, what I was trying to say is like they didn't walk around looking for. I mean, I guess they did, but like they didn't. They weren't in their face all the time in the media going, "We created Superman. We created Superman. We created Superman." That's what Liefeld does. He's like, you know, if you go to a Comic-Con and you meet him, you go, I created Deadpool, you know, hey, Deadpool. So it's just like I don't know. There are times I'm just like, I'm tired of this guy.
Well,
I am a fan. I really soured on him when he went after you on Facebook. I just thought that was totally out of left field. Blitzkrieged you from nowhere. Again, I don't even remember what you said that completely made him obsessed. I didn't expect that. And then Thrawn, absolutely, I agree. Like Jim Lee, he did this shit with Chris Claremont. Like he can't get no better than that. Rob Liefeld never got work with Chris Claremont. Well, maybe he did, but at least not in a big way like that. I really don't think he did though.
No. Yeah, I'm here trying to find the guy who was the advocate for.
Yeah. Well, Kassan, no. The estate is trying to sue, but not even in American court, like in under the English law court. So that's a little bit different there.
Yeah.
And I feel that no one ever denied
sometimes.
Liefeld's creatorship. It's just he's really looking for privileges here.
Neil Adams. Sorry.
Adams.
Oh, I don't feel that was that recently, but I guess.
Damn, that was my next one. All right. Sorry.
He's the one that like was a big advocate and fought to make sure they got credit and everything. Anyway, sorry. You were yelling at Kassan. It's one of our favorite pastimes on this show. I don't know. It's yeah, and I will yield that part of it is his personality at this point. Because I did meet him in the early 2000s at a convention. He was humble and he was nice, and this was before the Deadpool movies, and he signed some books and he talked to me for a while, and then the first Deadpool movie came out, and he just started riding that wave again as much as he could, and it just rubbed me the wrong way at that point.
He definitely became very active on Twitter. I do remember that. Like when the Deadpool movie, as it got closer, like I do remember him just kind of ramping up, his social media presence and stuff. I mean, he's got a great podcast. I mean, I really don't want to take anything away from the guy.
I do.
I think I do. I want to take it all. But he went after you personally on Facebook for really no reason. So we do have that bias because I'm the type of person, Dave, you're my brother, John, you're my brother. I may fuck with you guys, but nobody else better, so it's just kind of
yes, no one can make John blush like you.
Perfect.
So I honestly do think that part of this is a publicity stunt, and then in a few years he will announce his triumphant return to the character.
They'll come to him. They'll say, "Hey, write us a 3-shot cable story," and he'll do it.
Yeah. So, all right. I think, unless you guys have anything else to add, I think that is it. for the
No.
news. The last honorable mention, because we are going to be talking about this movie next week. It was confirmed in one of the latest ads that yes, adamantium will be introduced in the MCU starting this Friday, which gets us that much closer to
That's a
Wolverine.
Wolverine. Yeah, and X-Men, right? Mm.
So
Yeah, I was happy about that. I like that a lot.
yeah. So I mean, it's an alien metal, which I kind of like. If you want to try to make a realistic bent on it, that kind of works.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Wasn't Captain America's shield supposed to be a was it like a meld of adamantium and vibranium or something?
Well, the original was always just vibranium, and then at one point his shield got broken and they remade it.
Like proto adamantium or some shit.
Yeah, proto adamantium, and then at one point it was a mixture of adamantium, vibranium, and Asgardian steel, the same material that
Uru, right?
Is
Uru
it
metal
Uru?
or yeah, what
Oh, like
Mjolnir's made out of.
the dying star metal. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, Uru, that's it. Or the same material that what's his hammer? Why can't I think of Thor's
Mjolnir.
hammer?
Thor?
Mjolnir.
Meow
Yeah,
meow.
Mjolnir.
You don't pronounce the
by
J. Mjolnir. Yes, the same material Mjolnir is made out of.
I do. I can't not. I call the Spartans from Halo. Their armor is Mjolnir armor. I can have meow meow. We call it meow meow. Like
I still have a lot of words I pronounce wrong, but I always got that one right.
All
Shows you where
right.
my head was.
Let's bring this one in.
tsunami. Anyway.
Let's bring this one in for a landing. Let's go around the room and tell me, gentlemen, did you learn anything this week on the podcast? Or do you have any recommendations? And Don, you can go first.
I learned that if I criticize an aspect of a Star Wars IP, that some will think that reality itself is breaking, and that's a major responsibility. I would recommend is I already did it. Invincible. You know, if you're somebody that saw the first 2 seasons and was like, I wonder if season 3 is worth it. Yep, absolutely. Check that out. The first 3 episodes. You gotta love the series. The voice acting. I mean, let alone I love the animation, but the voice acting. What's that guy's name? J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Seth Rogen. It's phenomenal. Check it out.
All right, John.
Well, I'll back Don up on that because I've only seen the first season, but I know the storyline and all that because being walking in comic circles, you can't avoid that one. And I'll watch season 2 and 3 over the next couple of weeks. For me, again, I'll go with anime. There's one called Magic Maker: How to Create Magic in Another World. I think I might have mentioned this one before, but it's just getting better with every freaking episode. So I reiterate, it's just guy gets reincarnated as a kid in another world, but like there's goblins and monsters and all that, but nobody's figured out magic yet. Nobody even knows what it is, and he starts to slowly figure out how to create magic and use it. And it's kind of Japanese anime. Specifically isekai, they cover a lot of different scenarios. This is one of the most interesting scenarios I've seen for an isekai, and it's really, really, really cool.
Cool. I learned that I came onto this show this week, and now I have homework. I have to get caught up on an Invincible so that we can talk about it and make people happy out there.
People.
Yeah, I also learned that that Don is not that impressed with Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian. And look, John's dropping stuff. Reality is breaking around us, people.
Yeah.
What is going on here? I also realized that the camera on my new laptop might be more sensitive because when I move certain ways, the light has been flickering on my. Yeah, see, look, it just got brighter.
Yep,
It's driving me nuts. I'm gonna have to figure that one out for next week. All right. Wait. What did the Kasan say? He best mention the Witcher anime is coming out for Netflix next Tuesday.
Oh.
It's a movie. All right, we might have to check that one out.
They had
Recommendations.
another one
Well,
before, actually. Yeah. So
Okay.
go ahead.
I will recommend, if you've gotten this far in the podcast, you haven't done so yet, please smash that like button. It really helps with the algorithm, gets our show out there even more. So if you like what we're doing, come on, hit that like button. If you also haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button, click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here, normally on Sunday nights. This week, Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're so inclined, check out a Superhero Speak t-shirt merch store is linked in the description below. They are some of the best, finest quality t-shirts. In fact, I am wearing one right now, and I am comfy, and I feel like I look good, and the world loves me because I'm wearing this t-shirt. I'm telling you, it's great. It's wonderful. I will also recommend that you go and see in America, Brave New World, because that is what we will be talking about on the podcast next week. Yeah, I forgot to mention, don't forget to check out the website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all the social media at the top of the page, comic reviews by Don and I, and so much more. In fact, by the time I will have all the reviews up on the website by next week. But again, if you're, just check them out here on the channel. We're trying to keep people here on YouTube. This is where we want to make our money. There is a playlist for the reviews. Go check it out. Don just put one up yesterday for Defenders of the Earth, and he shouted me out in the review because we did meet the creators of the comic when we were in New York Comic Con last year. So check that out. It's a lot of fun. They're short. We keep them under a minute. They're quick takes on comics with a score. Definitely worth your time. All right, boys and girls. On that note, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape caught in the door. See you next week.
Superhero speak.